So again, welcome everyone to the Mastermind Book Club. Tonight's class is very special. Even if you haven't had a chance to read over or listen to chapter 5 of Think and Grow Rich, which is about auto-suggestion. It is so powerful. Last week, this time, when I gave this assignment, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to discover in one chapter? And as I began to listen to it, I almost missed listening to it for one day. And I probably listened to it, but I was half asleep because we went out partying on Saturday night. And Sunday, I was just knocked out as I was listening to it. So I don't know if I got much out of it. However, I made up for it because I listened to it at least twice, if not 3 times on a regular basis. Now, why is this chapter called Auto-Suggestion? Think and Grow Rich calls us to do at least 13 things in our lives to be an expert. And one of those is auto-suggestion. And why do I call it a thing? Because it's not tangible. It's not seeable. So it's about telling yourself exactly what it is you want to do. So in this chapter, it does talk about money. I'm not kidding you. The reality is that this chapter is about your money, my money. What are you doing to attract that money? How are you attracting it? So there are many ways to go about it. But as we go back and look briefly at A Man's Search for Meaning, when Viktor Frankl says that in order for him to survive the concentration camps, he had to find a reason to live. What did he do? What did he do? So that's why I have some key notes here. Let me just get them up right here. Here we go. Let's make certain we can see that. It's not a lot of notes. It's just a few words. So hoping you can see that. So auto-suggestion, that's what this chapter is about, auto-suggestion. What are you telling yourself? What is it that you want to accomplish? This chapter is specifically about money, but it could be anything else. If you don't want money in your life, hey, give it to me. I'll take it. You know, somebody's got to be responsible for your money. Might as well be me. Well, if you don't find that funny, sorry. Try to make a serious laugh out of that. So anyhow, these are the 5 things that are very important in this chapter. Desire. What is your desire? What do you want out of this life? Now, Napoleon Hill has a son. Let me see if I can unmute people's lines because I'd like to just okay, there we go. Whoops, I'm getting feedback on one of the lines. Let's see if this is it. Okay, did we have it? Yep, okay, we got it. All right, so desire. Why does Napoleon Hill mention desire? Well, he had a son. Does anyone recall what his son's name was or is? Because I don't know if he's still alive. Blair. Blair. I don't know how to spell it. You might have the better spelling, but if I had to guess, B-L-A-I-R-E. Blair Hill. So Blair was born without ears. And the doctor said he would never be able to listen. Just like my daughter, we were told she'd never be able to walk, talk, and would always be dependent on someone. Well, I beg to differ. I didn't challenge the doctor right then and there, but silently, I challenged them. Silently, in my own mind. And I had the desire to see my daughter walk, talk, and be free of convulsions. I had the desire of wanting more out of my daughter and not accepting the status quo. What does that mean? We were told to put a pump in our daughter's stomach so that she could feed, and I denied it. I said, no, we're not getting a pump. I was asked, why don't you want it? I asked the doctors, tell me what the benefits are of having a pump to feed. Does anyone want to take a hint on what the answer to that was? What the doctor responded? The doctor responded very simply. The doctor said, she said, it would be easier to feed. Now, is that a response that a parent wants to hear? Is that a benefit or a convenience? See, most parents will go and get a pump because it's a convenience to feed their child. My child, it takes over an hour to feed, just to have some cereal, but she eats a lot. It's wild. So we've got to have some patience for her. So it's the desire of seeing my child do better. That's the desire that Napoleon Hill was trying to tell you, that his son could not hear, but he implanted in his brain something that's very important. Another word that's very important: lies. Yep, he told his son lies. Now he refers to them as white lies. So what does that mean? Lies can be bad, but they can also be good. So I tell my daughter, you're going to be walking by X date. You're going to be walking. And I believe it. And she believes it. And I tell her, you've got to do these things to walk. And she does them. So it's really important for you to understand that whatever it is that you're feeding into your own mind or your children's minds is because it's a reality to your subconscious. Your subconscious can't tell the difference between reality and made up fictitious world, or lies and truth. So whatever it is that you're feeding your subconscious is how your reality is going to come about. So you tell me, what is your desire? If you don't know what your desire is, what are you doing right now to figure it out? What are you doing on a daily basis in the meantime if you don't know? Because whatever it is that you're doing, is it fulfilling you? Are you happy? Is it making you cheerful on a daily basis? Are you excited to wake up and go to work, or whatever it is that you call work, or whatever it is you do on a daily basis? So bring that to mind. Your desire is very, very powerful. If you don't know what your desires are, let's talk. Talk to me. Talk to someone that you trust, someone with more experience, right? What's the next word in this chapter that he refers to? Faith. Now, faith, although I consider myself a bit religious, I know that not everyone does. It doesn't necessarily have to mean in a religious term. Faith can mean your absolute belief in that something will happen, or something that is not in front of you, not tangible, will come from whatever it is that you're doing on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis, or however you want to put it, because some people don't do it on a daily basis. Some people have a limited schedule, and maybe they do it on their weekends. So faith is about having this desire and you continuously doing something to acquire this desire. Are you providing enough faith? If you're not providing enough faith, it takes time to develop faith. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about your desire? Do you believe in your desire? So faith, it's very, very powerful. If you're not using faith in whatever it is you want to accomplish or acquire, then how are you going to get there? The third word that he uses is vision. Now, I know that most people in this group, I believe most people in this group have a vision board. And if you don't, what are you waiting for? Contact me. Some people will put a label behind their phone to remind them of things that they have to do. Some people will put a picture on their phone display, just like I have. That reminds me of all of the things that I want to do in life. Do you have that? Do you need guidance with that? It's very easy to do. It's not difficult. But if you do need guidance with that, get on my calendar. Those who've gotten on my calendar have benefited from information that we weren't even expecting. So please be aware that the importance of working together, of being accountable, is so that you can get to the next level easier. So vision, what is your vision? That's part one, is having a sort of a visual. But then there's a part two to the vision. What is part two? Part two is mentioned in this chapter, and most people don't grab it. This is the secret that's mentioned throughout this whole book. This is the secret that in Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl uses to envision himself that he will not be in a concentration camp for long. What did he do? He saw himself giving lectures. He saw himself teaching to kids. He saw himself how his lectures would turn out, how many kids were there, how his tone was, whether there was laughter or not. Most of this requires you to use your brain. Is it an inconvenience for you to use your brain for autosuggestion, for your desire, for faith in your vision? And once you have that vision, monetary is where we're headed to in this chapter. But once you have that vision in the meantime, what are you doing with that vision? How are you making it real? Your subconscious can't tell the difference between real and fake. So what are you doing? All right? Money conscience. That's what this chapter is about. If you don't need money and you have plenty to go around, send it to me. I need it. I know who can use the money. My kids can use the money, and I have a nonprofit that can use the money. And I'm being serious. We all need money. Whoever tells you you don't need money in this world, come on. Unless you're living in the Paleolithic times and you have a Paleolithic lifestyle right now where you're not using this phone, where you're not using a laptop, where you're not using a TV, you're sleeping in the woods. Let's be real. We all need money in one way or another. If you don't need it, it's a very useful tool. So what are you doing to attract this money right now? So let's say you wanted $100,000 within 5 years. In the book it says 50,000. But let's say 100,000 in 5 years. What do you need to do to get there? Obviously, you need to be able to save $20,000 a year. That's number one. But number two is, does your work or your business allow you to do that? And if it doesn't, what are you planning to do in order to acquire this money? But this is not the only thing that he says, because this is where it's ambiguous. Napoleon Hill hints at $50,000 in 5 years. I said 100,000. Your goals should be set high. They should be so high, they may seem impossible to reach. However, whatever your vision is, you've got to write out a plan for it. Whatever your money conscience plan is, what are you doing to realize it? All right? If you don't have money plans, how in the world are you going to get this money? Set your money goals high. Set your goals high. Because if you don't reach them, you're going to land amongst the stars, right? That's the saying. If you don't reach them, you will be within distance of them. Not too far of a distance. But let's say this, 100,000 in 5 years or $1 million in 5 years. Right? $1 million is tough. But I'll tell you this. If you save 100,000 in a year, in 5 years, and you didn't get to $1 million, it's better than saving $0 in 5 years, isn't it? Most people don't realize that. Set your goals higher. But not only that, set a plan. This is how I'm going to get there. First, I'm going to work from 9 to 5, and then I'm going to go and do my side business. And on the weekends, I'm going to get the kids to come out and let's hustle selling some t-shirts. And we're going to be able to save $2,000, $4,000 a month. Make a plan. That's going to equal $1,000 a week. That's how you get there. What's the goal of saving this money? All right. If you're not writing these plans out, if you don't have them written out, what are you waiting for? A miracle? Yes. Having a vision is powerful. Having it written down is much more powerful, because not only do you have a vision, now you have a map that can be corrected if it needs to be. But your money plans are really important. Not only that, last week I put up a video that is mainly audio, my audio, on these money plans. Has anyone had a chance to listen to it? Let's see, I'm going to unmute. There we go.
There we go.
No, I didn't.
You did not?
See it.
Oh boy, Tijuana. Where have you
I
been?
didn't see it. It must have escaped me.
Tijuana, we were together. Reggie, you, me, Quentin. Who else was there? I don't remember. But it's okay. There's still time. That's the good news. So if you didn't get a chance, that's fine. That's fine. But your money plans are awaiting on you to act upon them. Now, one, you can go and do the research again and look at this chapter and then write it down. Or two, you can get on my calendar and I can assist you with this. All right? I've done the work. I have an audio. It doesn't say how much in the audio. It says X amount that you want to acquire, and then X amount by 65, so that you can fill that in. And then if you need to fill in whatever your goals are, if they're different than the ones I've stated, then you can fill them in. But this is powerful. I've started to listen to this since I've made it, and sometimes I'm addicted. I listen to it 2-4 times a day. Why? Because it's only 2 minutes long. 2 minutes. 2 minutes of money consciousness. So whatever amount you want to attract in your life, you've got to be certain that you're doing the habit, the daily habits, in order to attract this money. And don't worry, as I've talked to 1 or 2 of the people who come on this line, they're not on this line yet, but they complain, oh, I didn't get my money goals, I'm really stressed. I said, well, I've been on this search for the past X amount of years. What was it, 4 or 5 years, I believe I said? And I've missed every year since. But you know what? I know I'm getting closer. As I said, maybe you have $1 million goal. Maybe you have a $10 million goal. Maybe your goal is only 50,000. Whatever it is, set your goals higher. Because if you set them at 50,000, you might be complacent when you get to 5,000. What is that going to do for you? Is that good? But if you set them up at 1 million, 10 million, or more, whatever it is that you want to set them up, and you get 100,000, you're going to be very proud. And then once you have 100,000, now you're ready to go on to the next, to get closer to the million. So if you don't have the money plans set in stone, if you don't have it visual, if you don't have it auditory, what are you waiting for? Reach out to me, get on my calendar, and let's work on this. If you don't want to work with me on this, that's fine. You have chapter 5, AutoSuggestion, to go over it and write it on your own. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to save you some work. That's all. But if you're not interested in that, then that's fine as well. Now, once you have these money plans, Napoleon Hill says, please read aloud 2 times per day. But what else does he says? Visualize the money in your hands. Visualize the pile of money in front of you. Visualize the money with being spent with your family. Visualize the money for teething. Is that so hard? Visualize the money buying a house, buying a car, whatever it is that pleases you. You know, it could be some bling bling. Hey, if you make it, you deserve it. Do you need it? Maybe you do. Maybe it's just a want. Or maybe it's a sign of a trophy because you acquired a certain level in your life. Chapter 5 is really powerful. Really, really powerful. If you didn't listen to it once per day for 7 days, I urge you to listen to it. Yes, a little bit boring. You start to pick up on the words as I did, you'll realize how powerful it is. Now, for those of you who are listening, I gave away Napoleon Hill's secret to acquiring money, to attracting more income into your life. Now, we are like a business. How is that? A business usually has supplies, right? For Facebook, the supplies is people, consumers coming in to sign up. For Amazon, it's people buying, purchasing just in general. But for us, we have to take inventory just like those businesses. When was the last time you took inventory on yourself? What does this mean? Inventory, right? What does it mean? When was the last time you asked yourself, am I healthy? Is there anything I can do to get healthier? You know, every time that I go to the gym, I don't know why, I think about Reggie. Reggie might think I'm, you know, one of these crazy aficionados or paparazzis or something that's onto him. But Reggie challenges me indirectly because I know he likes to lift weights, and probably, well, I don't know.
I don't lift weights.
He does
Not
specific
typically.
exercises. Say that again,
I
Reggie.
do exercise every day.
Exercise. He does specific exercise just like I do. I don't do much weight. I do minimal. And I try and do similar. And I've tried to increase it.
100 sit-ups, push-ups.
And I'm getting there.
Squats, dips.
I'm doing 30 squats. So I'm getting there.
At least.
Right? So thanks to you, Reggie. You know,
body weight, though. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to do it straight. You just have to get it done.
Yes. So I do 10, 10, 10. So, and I'm going to work my way up the ladder. Now, what other questions should be asking yourself? What's the one thing I need to do? What's one thing I need to do to double my salary within the next 6 months, such that everything else is easier or unnecessary, and enjoy the process? When was the last time you asked yourself that? When was the last time you asked someone for advice on what do you need to do to increase your salary? Most of us, never. We thought about it. Man, if only I could get my salary double. That's not a question. Taking inventory. You are your own business. If someone says you have a business, if they ask you if you have a business, or what do you do, and say, I have a business. You are your own business. You've got to take inventory regularly. What else do you need to ask yourself? Am I dedicating enough time for my spouse, my kids? When was the last time you asked yourself that? If you have them, because if you don't, you know, how about are you dedicating enough time to your animal? To your friends? To whomever? When was the last time you took inventory on that? How about spiritually? When was the last time you took inventory spiritually, that you prayed? All right, but I want to take this one more step beyond that. One of the high performance habits is mentioned in this chapter, and it's not easy to understand. For me, it took me many times of listening to understand it. the ability to meditate. Most of us do not meditate. I know Ruth is licensed in meditating. I think she's on the I don't know if I have you muted, but I know she and I have had the calls, and I know that she's an expert on meditation. You're unmuted, Ruth, just in case you want to say anything.
I don't know about expert, but I've been practicing it for decades now. So
Has it helped you? If you in your meditation lifestyle?
yes, it has. It has. What I found is that I was going through burnout. I reason why I bump into meditation is because I was looking for some relief from burnout, and I got formal instruction, and I did a 3-day silent 3-day weekend silent meditation, and it changed my life. So yes, it is something that I practice regularly.
Wow, that's very good.
Thank you.
That is, you've heard that, everyone. Thank you, Ruth, for sharing. Ruth and I have spoken about this. I'd say sometime last spring, summertime, and that moved me. And although I'm not doing a complete meditation yet, I am doing mini meditations. They are so powerful. Now, as you continue to listen to Napoleon Hill's book, you're going to listen to a lot of the people who use meditation, but they're not going to mention the word meditation. You've got to think and add, is this meditation? You're going to hear it. Some people have become super wealthy through meditation. Super wealthy through meditation. How? Well, I don't know. Maybe I should leave that for next week's class. Oh, well, we'll talk about that in a minute because we're almost at our time. The importance of meditation is found within this book many times over. Napoleon Hill, what he tells his son is an indirect meditation, a desire that turns into faith, that turns into a vision, where his son Blair goes on this quest. And to me, his son is successful. To me, his son is what many of us should be doing. All right? So I want to open up the lines because we're almost at the end of this call. And let's see if anyone has anything else to add than what I've said. I know people. But I muted your line. I don't know why. I'm getting feedback on your line, but if you talk, you just does anyone want to add to chapter 5 or any questions? Good. No questions. All right. So this is what I want to tell you. This chapter is really powerful. If you don't have your money conscience audio or written statement, what are you waiting for? Get on my calendar. Let's work on it. Put on there money conscience statement, and we'll work on it. All right? That's how powerful it is. This chapter is small. It was 23 minutes. Listen, it's really, really powerful. And I know that some of you who haven't been able to listen to it will listen to it now, because it's about growing. It's about growing your business, yourself. You are a business. Take inventory. What do you need? What are you lacking? What do you have too much of? Are you dedicating too much time to your business and not enough time to yourself, to your family? Because I know that there are people who go around there saying, stop dilly-dallying. You got to dedicate more time to your business now. Forget about your family. There'll be time later. Really? And that's why your relationship is almost falling apart. And now you want to make up because you have $1 million and you want to give it to your wife? I don't think so. Life doesn't work that way. Not a family. You can't just set them aside. Kids grow quickly. Blink of an eye, they're big. So chapter 5 is really powerful. Really, really powerful. What are you waiting for? Let's get to that next level. Now, for the next week, what I'd like to do is I'm going to give you the rest of Napoleon Hill's book, not the whole thing, because we only did the first 3.5 hours of listening. What I'd like to do is I'm going to repost it, and I'd like to recommend you to read from 3 hours and 30 minutes to the 7-hour mark, which is another 3.5 hours. Some of you, you'll be able to do it. Don't worry if you don't do the whole thing. Try and listen to as much as you can throughout the week. This is for you. It's not for me. Your contract to yourself should say that you're going to listen to it minimum 10 minutes daily. Are you meeting your contract? Are you falling behind on your contract? There's nothing more powerful than making contracts for yourself. Your subconscious mind, I don't know why, there's this crazy feeling in my head that tells me I have to read. I have to listen to audiobooks 10 minutes a day. And I find it because my subconscious is telling me I have to do it. In the past, it was, why are you doing this? You know, this is not you. You don't need this. But now, it's a completely different subconscious. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish, you can accomplish. All right? So again, to everyone, any question?
Can you put your calendar back up?
Yes, I'm going to put it back up. Give me about 30 minutes and I'll put it up because I got to do 2 more therapy sessions with my daughter, and then I'll put it up. This was, who said that? Tawana?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, of course, Tawana. You.
Appreciate
Annette,
it.
great to see you here. Wow, Annette. And Elmer, who's almost in, his wife is expecting, and soon we'll have another Elmer in the house. Marito.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Elmer. So I'd like to tell everyone I'm going to post this recording in the group as well, but I'm going to post it in the format. I will post the recording. I will post the assignment for the week. I will also post my calendar, so that if you want to get on in reference to doing your money conscious statement, that's really, really powerful. All right? So let's get on with it. Now, next week, Tuesday, is Christmas Eve. And then the following Tuesday after that is New Year's Eve. Who wants to get on a call? I don't. But if you do, try and make time for it. So if you're unable to get on, is it okay if we move it to Thursday night for next week? Or we can wait until the 8th, the 7th of January. Which do you prefer, between the Thursdays? Hold on, I'm getting feedback. So if you can type into the chat there, would you prefer Thursdays, or you prefer for me to take 2 weeks off? And this is very important. Why? Because when we come back on in January, we're going to have a special guest on this call, because he's giving out his book for free through Amazon, and he's going to be on this call. And it's someone that most of you should have heard by now. His name is Chris Holder. Holder released the book. Hello? Am I getting feedback? Okay, that should cut it out. So Chris Holder released a book, and now he's made a second edition of that same book. And I'd like to get him on for either the 7th of January or the 14th of January. But I need your input on that. Now, if you can write in the chat, if you prefer the classes, either, okay, January is fine, that's perfect for me. That would mean January 7th. Anybody else, just to be certain? Is January fine if we start up January 7th?
That's good with me.
Okay, good with you. That sounded like either Charles, I'm guessing.
January's fine.
January's fine. So, okay. So what we're going to do is now you have 2 weeks time to go over the remainder of Napoleon Hill's book. All right. So it's from 3.5 hours all the way to the, what is it? It's almost 7 hours and 17 minutes more of listening. So that it's a 10-hour and 47-minute audio listening. So try and listen to as much as you can in that audio book. It's really powerful. All right. Again, for the last time, does anyone have any questions? If you need to any questions, unmute yourself or text it in the chat. Let's see, Tawana usually asks questions, but you're unmuted just in case, Tawana.
What happened?
No question. Yes. Everyone, I really want to thank you. You have made all out of this class, out of me. I'm really appreciative to have you all here. And I know that at times things will come up and you can't make it, but I'd really like to work into this. And I want to commit Ruth so that we'd have a session, a class where we only do meditation. If Ruth, are you willing to do that with me?
Yes, that'd be great. I am. I would.
January 21, would that be a good date for us to do a meditation in this class?
Yes, yes, yes.
So
I'll put it on the schedule.
If everyone else is willing, we will do that. I would love to do it earlier, but because of time, since we're coming back to class on the 7th, and I would like to have Chris Holder on the 14th. So we'll have Ruth on the 21st. It is really powerful. Meditation is powerful. And I'd like to have Ruth on because she is somewhat our expert who's done it repetitively. I've done it a few times, but I can benefit from listening to someone else doing it as well. So that's our schedule for the new year right now. We'll come back on January 7th, and I will post in the group. And if anyone needs accountability, contact me. Get on my calendar once a week just to say hi or just to tell me that you hate me. You know, whatever it may be. You know, I have corny jokes. That's fine. They're not meant to make you laugh. They're meant to make you serious laugh. So that's all. All right, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. I forgot what the Jewish holiday is called, but
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. I'm a Jew for Jesus. I'm a Jew for Jesus. So anyhow, thank you everyone. Have a blessed, fantastic end of year. And whatever you have for the year, if you need assistance, call me, contact me. Right? Don't do it alone if you don't know how to. God bless everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, David. Happy holidays, everyone.
Holidays.
Happy holidays.